right, guys, so looking at diction today, we are considering the quote from Philip Larkin, which if you haven't read Philip Larkin, which I doubt you have, very interesting, controversial writer. He says, once I am sure there's nothing going on, I step inside, letting the door thud shut. That is from short story Church Going, right? Poem Church Going. All right, so what feelings are evoked by the word thud? Oh, sure. You don't feel like catching the door when you're tired. It is a little bit of work. Some doors are heavier than others to do that. Okay, tired. You said
careless, like you just let the door go.
Sure. That could be another issue. I want to talk about both of those things because you said, and we got to keep in mind, he's talking about going to, where is he going? We assume he's talking about going to the church. So with that, letting the door thud, what might that mean? If he's not, what is it?
It's not super loud.
It's not really loud because we're going to think of other ways on down the page that we can talk about door slamming. All right. What else? How would the meeting change if the speaker let the door slam shut?
It would be angry.
Everybody, whenever you hear that, you think, who's mad? Yeah. What happened? All right, because it's a very alarming sound. Sometimes it makes you even go a gate. If you're in a room and someone slams the door and walks in, it's very awkward. It's very awkward because you're not sure what's going on. So there's different, not really so much anger with a thud, but with a slam. But honestly, if my door slams, it's because, well, actually I have slammed it before, but it's usually because it was an unintentional slam. A thud, however, is more almost like you kind of press up against it and close it. It's just not as loud. In the following chart, in the first column, we're going to record 5 different verbs which express the closing of a door. In the second column, record the feelings these verbs evoke. So closing of a door, we've already, thud is taken, so is slam. What else could we do for a verb there? Creak shut, yes. And again, that's it's creaking, no hurry, slow, it's old.
It could be like trying to sneak or something.
Okay, so you're saying the creak could be sneaking
Right.
in? Okay, sure.
Because I know every time I get home from work and it's like midnight, the door creaks shut and I'm like,
Absolutely, yes, sliding in, hoping no one will notice.
yep.
Right, especially your parents. Just a little bit late. Good, what else? Slide, okay, sliding shut on the slide doors, or just
in general. Some doors they click.
oh sure, almost on their own. Okay, sure. All right, so taking the first one, and you said it was creepy. What kind of feeling does that evoke again? So it's like someone's distrustful almost, or suspicious, possibly.
Right.
So awkward. For the second one, and your verb was. Okay, so what feeling is evoked by that? Okay, which is if I'm late somewhere, I would much rather go unnoticed. I don't want the door to make me. If I could crawl under the door and go in, I would, because I don't like to be late. But yes, all right, so thirdly, can we think of another verb? Yes.
Click. Like click shut.
Click shut.
Cardinal.
Sure, and that is just very much like, it's shut. It's like when the top open, and we have a door at home that we have to really watch because it doesn't make that clicking sound. The dogs are going to come in, they're going to mess in. It's going to be a party for them and terrors for us. So sure, so click. So what is evoked by click? Again, think about if you're able to hear that. Sure, most want to be shut. It could be a good thing, it could be a very bad thing. I mean, I need something in there, I have the key to get back in. So it really depends on your situation there.
It really just depends on the context of it.
It does. All right, so we need two more verbs that talk about a door. Again, closing of the door.
The doors jam.
Jam shut. Okay, so what would that look and sound like?
Somebody's walking floor, or maybe they just like block it.
Like barricaded?
And
Okay,
that could express like fear, like you're trying
Sure.
to keep someone out, or you're trying to protect yourself or other people or something.
and that creaky door open earlier, yes. Okay, so barricaded fear. Finally, one more. I think there were adverbs for this, I don't know why. Reluctantly closed, that's not a verb. How closed? Anything else? You have some good ones, quick, creep. Is that the things you said? Mm-hmm, yeah. There's probably one more. All the good ones, so. Fantastic. Good.
Because we're banging each other.
Okay, sure, yes. There's a difference in banging and slamming. And so what is slam, when you're talking about that, what about banging shut? Could be good. Sure.
It could be like a screen door, like, you know, how they're like, really fly back
Could be.
and like make a banging.
Like in the Winston Home Foods thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not shutting, it's like going back and
Going
forth.
back and forth, yes, and so that should be, to me, that's a little unsettling. And I was thinking of a very angry person. Oh, they're doing, I'm leaving, and that's just completely awful. I don't know, but it could be, again, it's not a comforting feeling. It's not a good, like everything's okay feeling. All right, great. I just discovered what I think this is. This is not hard. It's almost like we're kind of middle schoolish. But the thinking we do in here is for you to be better writers. I assure you that. Because I got that feeling. I thought maybe that's what it is. It seems almost very childlike what we're doing, but it's very important. It will help you unlock the mysteries of poetry, and it will help improve your writing as well. So there we go with that. Anybody have questions? All right, what I want to do, and I didn't even pause long enough. Does anybody have questions? Because I have a really bad habit of moving on full steam ahead when I need to give it a little bit more time. Questions? All right, I need to talk about things upcoming due that are due. So first we have, we should have had the lit terms turned in. That was our second round of those. Second round turned in Monday night. And we've already got a terrible, and I'll talk about this to the kids individually, but it's not turning into work, and it gets to be, in this class, you'll be going down really fast. I mean, if you skip one assignment, it's tough. It's real, and you don't know that because we keep going. We don't wallow in an assignment. I don't want to say that we rush through them, but we've got, with the type of class this is, AP, there's also concurrent class, we're really what it is. So I know that you're not complaining. I'm just really wanting to stay on top of it and let me know if you have a problem, if you don't, if it doesn't make sense. You know, if you're angry, I think, come talk to me. I'm a reasonable person. There'll be no door slamming here. I mean, we'll have a conversation. But don't be behind. You have on Monday night your college essay due. Before we talk about that, I wanted to go ahead and ask, did everybody receive the resume comments? Okay. Very little, if any, correction. You guys did an amazing job on those. And again, a resume is simply a listing of your accomplishments, what you've been doing with your life. It sounds great. The important thing is to be consistent on a resume. If you start using, like, instead of years, like grade, I was in this grade when I played tennis. If you use be consistent, start using a grade, use it off of your resume. I've seen what people use a year, which is better. Once you count back, it's better. I think it looks more adult. The year there. A brief description on each of the activities you're in. And then again, my main rule, and I didn't see this a lot, that's probably the only thing I like on this one. A lot of you guys are putting experience at the top, and I know that's what the templates tell you there. But the templates are 99.9% for people looking for jobs. It's not necessarily academic resumes for high school seniors. trying to get scholarships and things. So you really need to put your education first. You need to put, after that, your experience at school. It needs to be like honors, awards, things you do inside school, outside school, church, community, followed by your, and you can, some people break it down, like they'll do extracurricular and they'll do volunteer work. And then some is called activities and it's everything. It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent in your own resume. Not with something twice. I don't think what else would do it. Because Jake is, and I'm just gonna, we welcome that. Jake's kind of, it's gonna, one event, it's gonna up and down, probably 30 times. So we his resume, we've got him here. But I'm trying to kind of go over that again. Most people here use, I think, the resume on the classroom. Well, actually, one of the different ones, but I had one that was from the college guy, from college. These are actually pretty good because it lets you go in, you can turn the light, and just go in and put your information in. It follows it really well. I think it's originally Microsoft that converts to Google Docs pretty easily. Some of you guys might use Canva, and some of them look very different. Some use the Google templates. And all we're doing is just make sure that you are using those settings in the order that we need to. Education first, followed by honors and activities. Questions on resume. It's just simply doing it. Everybody gets a good grade as long as you do it. I say that sometimes my regular students, they get a really good job on theirs. And I kind of look at my pressure on theirs, but it's pretty good. So basically, just get that done. You can use it for scholarships, applying for school, applying for completed programs, applying for a job, and like whatever kind of job you want. Okay. The next thing is college essay. How many guys, and this is, I'm a little bit scared to ask this because this is Wednesday, before they're due, for all of you except for Jake, your college essay. Do you have, you're going on that. You got a prompt. How many still don't have a clue what they're going to write about? Rody, Adonis, it's okay because you're in the same boat probably as Jake. So I just want to say, let's just talk about advice. What can we, because I mean, that's pretty broad. I said, do a college application. That's pretty much all I told them. I had some samples in red, and I'll go ahead and pull those up. The samples are, and if you look how it's built up here, I've got everything, everything pretty neat. College application essay. We have prompts here. We read some of these. But pretty much all of the essays fall into about these 7 or 8 categories. You just have to find the prompt that you feel you can write about that shows something about yourself, right? You've got to find that prompt. A lot of people want an accomplishment, event, or realization that spark personal growth. Because that is something that it appears on a lot of applications, scholarship applications I see. If you're fortunate enough to know what you want to do when you get out of school, not before it says, you guys are, you're so young to already know that. But if you feel like you know what you want to do, that's always a good topic. You can write about, I want to do this because, and then kind of write out your plan. This is what I plan to do. Valerie Bowen, Mr. Bowen's daughter, she's going to be a veterinarian. And so she, one of the scholarships had her step by step. She had to talk about each phase of her college career. This is what I do for my bachelor's. This is what I plan on doing. It showed that she had looked at it. She has an idea what she's going to do. It's reality for her. She's not just, I think I'll do this. She's not realizing what all entails. So her essay is in the minimum length of, it might have been 1,000 words, but that's still a very short essay. So again, there's no length requirement. You just need to make sure you're doing it. It has the beginning, middle, and the end. All right? Don't leave this hanging. So guys, what helps you all? Because I know that some of y'all, I still up my hands and I say, yes, I'm going. I said just a few who are undecided. What helps you get writing? What is it?
We already started, we did planning on for.
Oh, great. That's the thing about compass is it is do your work in class. It is absolutely, absolutely for that. We just don't have the time to get in here. So planning, but so let me ask you this, because before you plan, you can't just start planning, you gotta have, right, so what did you start with?
You kind of kind of looking in here and then she said it kind of takes something.
Right, that's what
Kind of like a
yeah, you have to do, it just takes time, just something, I wish I could give you time to work on everything we have, but there's just, no, that's not possible, we can't do that. So you do need to find it, read some good essays. I've got some posted on here. We're not limited to that. And then just kind of pick one that you like. And basically, you just start saying, okay, well, if I'm going to pick something, an accomplishment or event that made you realize something, you're going to obviously think of a few things. You're going to hone in on one that really, I can really spend a lot on that. Wow. And kind of looking back at it, reflection, I learned a lot from that experience. So that can help you with anything. And again, if you don't have a lot of information before you're writing, because very few people can write well and not plan. I get whatever you're on to do that. I don't plan. I'm a non-planner. I'm on the okay, we'll see how you do. But most people have to have a good blueprint before they start writing. Even have a planning involves organization, so you know what paragraph goes where. But don't feel married to it. If you start writing, it's really messy, and so things can be moved around like furniture in a room. So you know, I didn't include it. I'm going to move it over here. I've seen a lot of good conclusions that actually can be flipped and used in the introduction because they're very similar. I don't think, well, no, they're not. Well, they are. You're introducing your topic, you know, you get interest. You're concluding it because you're concluding on an interesting statement. So a lot of times they can be interchangeable. More questions, comments on a college essay? Just do it. You just have to do it. Just not simple. Questions, comments? Brody, honest.
I'm sorry. I was gonna ask, when are we doing peer editing? Are we doing that like on our own time?
Peer editing, that is an excellent question. No.
Okay.
No, you're not. The peer editing will actually, it'll take place on Tuesday.
Okay, so we need to have our
So
final ones.
You're turning it to me, that way you've got something. Because if I don't have that due date,
So is our final grade on it before we do our peer editing?
no. I can say your rough draft is due Monday night. Monday night. I need to have it in, that way you can come in, you can talk about it, look at it.
We turn it in on Tuesday and like Tuesday night after we get our peer editing that morning?
I might give you longer than that. I might give you longer than, I don't know, another week after the peer editing. Because again, we don't have to do this in class except for peer editing. I do want to do peer editing in class. So Tuesday, we'll do that now. I did this with English 12 really well. I have never had so few errors on English 12. Normally it's just like waiting for a yard and you can't see the bottom. It's just like you're just making like here. It was much better this time with peer editing. So I know that you guys can do a great job as well on it. And I'll have guidelines for you and know what to do with that. Good, excellent question. So Monday night, rough is due. You're going to be presenting those to your group on Tuesday, that paper. It is a big week next week, because I'm assuming, and let me just turn the calendar on really fast to back myself up. I'm pretty sure it is because it is. All right, so calendar, I always go by the old calendar because even though we don't have, Monday's a B day. Yes, it's a very good question. Okay, no more questions on college essay because there are no bad questions. This is the last time we meet until your peer editing, with your peers. Editing, okay. All right, so that is that. Let me go to what else you're doing. You know, I really could. I'm just, floating. Okay, so Canterbury Tales. All right, so Canterbury Tales, this is simply just the link. You go to Canterbury Tales to read. And it's not long, we're just reading excerpts of this. Guys, we're skipping, actually, when we read Sugar Wayne, we went from BC to AD. We took a big jump on our literary timeline that I want you to see up here. But, you know, AD, BC is back here, so BC was Oedipus, BC was a little bit of the Iliad, a little bit of the Odyssey. And then so that all these things, and we jumped up, right? We did Middle English, where Middle English was Sugar Wayne and not. So we've gone years and years ahead. If I showed you something in Old English, you would not be able to read it. You might recognize just a couple of words, but this basically is showing how the English language has changed. And Chaucer chose to write his in English. Bless you. So what it is you have a prologue. And it's all, of course, poetry. And he's going to tell you about these people, these pilgrims, they're taking a trip. And they're walking, you can imagine it in the 1200s, they're walking on the feet and on the donkeys, right? That's how they're traveling. So what time of year do you think they'd want to go? They want to go in the spring, it's pretty. And that's the very first few lines. When in April, the sweet showers fall and fiercely dries march to the root. Everybody wants to get out and roam around because it's beautiful. So you're going to read these and you're going to have each pilgrim. I'll tell you what I think I may do because you've got your college SAT. I would love you to read every bit of this, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and assign your pilgrim. That way you can look for it in the italics. You can read about what he or she looks like. You can come to class with a little slide describing your pilgrim. And that'll introduce, that way you don't have, I know you got a lot on you, so I'm trying to ease it a little bit. I would love for you to read the prologue, it's wonderful, but you just kind of have to skip through and see. You can kind of tell the yeoman here, in the italics. So after lunch, I'll have your assignments on Google Classroom for your pilgrim, okay? And you'll do that. So that way you're just skipping, you're just reading. Now the month is several, I mean, he's a little bit longer. You're not going to have the friar. The friar's longer also, but it's just interesting what terrible people they are just because they're working the churches and they're good people. But Chaucer was really going out on a limb writing this way about people.
So does it just mention it in like this section and that's it? Like it doesn't move down anywhere?
No. You'll be able to read its entirety, and whoever gets the skipper, well, he's interesting and terrible. The cook is really, really short. If you're lucky enough to be the cook, wow, but he has a very bad problem. Okay, so that's the prologue, and that's again, you're going to be able to just glance and you're going to read and get what they look like. Introduce us on, I won't say Tuesday, Tuesday's period editing, so it might be Thursday. All right, so that's that. That's the prologue, and basically it's just introducing all these different people who are going. Most of them are pretty bad people. I mean, he describes them. They're going on this religious trip, Thomas a Becket Shrine, and you think, oh, they're great people going on this train. And some of them are awful, and some of them work at a church. I won't tell you which ones are awful, but it's just like, oh my goodness, does that mean she's, yes. So you can read carefully what Chaucer says about her there. All right, questions on that. And so see how long it is. I'm sparing you, although it is beautiful. I love it. But I'm wanting the people to introduce you to the pilgrims that way. All right. Yes. Can't see it.
The video you sent us.
Yes.
For Galen.
Yes.
And I understand what you mean by old English.
It is.
Because I was listening and it was just like.
Yes, I will, in a minute, I will play a little bit of that. I think it's the Lord's Prayer. I can play that and you can hear it in Old English. And you all know, I think you all know what it sounds like, even if someone's not Christian, or you're familiar with it. You can't hardly recognize. You can maybe recognize heaven and forgive, and maybe our Lord, and today. Maybe that's about it. All right, so guys, what else you're going to read is, you're going to be reading the two short tales, The Wife of Basstale. So everyone will be reading that. So the Wife of Bath we're going to get to read what she says. You still can't see, sorry. It's not too long. And then we'll be reading The Pardoner's Tale. And that's also right here. I might have clicked on that again. Yeah, okay, The Pardoner's Tale again. So and this is actually shorter. This is actually, well, I like them both, but this is my favorite one, I think. This is just very to the point, not long at all. Questions on that we'll be doing. I will put it more, it's actually in your assignment that it's already been posted, but I haven't put in which pilgrim you're going to get and which slide. This is something that we're not going to stay in this very long. Actually, after this, we're going to be on the Paradox Law. So it's kind of a push from Middle English to Shakespearean language, because Paradox Law, John Milton, was written actually a little bit after Shakespeare. So we're going a little bit with him, and we're going to go back to Shakespeare with Hamlet and Macbeth. Questions yet? I don't even know not sure what to ask. All right, let's switch to Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. All right, what did you think about it? Surprising. Okay, why was it surprising?
Because his head fell off. And then he went over and picked it up.
He did. Rhodo? He did.
All right.
Hearing his head.
Thanks, Victor.
So, yes. So, he did. So let's set the story up really quickly. let's set it up. That is the most interesting part. It's one of the most, it's not the most interesting.
The headless horseman thing come from you.
Yes, it did. Oh, thank you. Well, you didn't already, you know he read that.
Yeah.
And you know he, I mean,
That's
that's
what I
what
was thinking the
I'm
whole time.
saying. We all watched the video.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember when we talked about, keep in mind that it's that place that people, it's what happened to the girl that she was, I think it was, he loved, he wanted, you know, she was like, no, he killed her, had her head off, that well done, it got put back on. And so there's an actual place, and I go to that video. And so anyway, well, he got this, you know, he used the idea, he had to have read it, I know he did. So the head falling off, rolling around, then being around their feet, it's comical, right? It's part of, romance, right? All right, so let's go back to the very beginning, really fast. I want to kind of walk through it. So King Arthur's court, I don't know how much you've read about King Arthur.
A lot.
You have? Good, on your own or in? On your own. I'm going for a short version, King Arthur.
I feel like I have
A little bit, but not a lot.
You're a little familiar. You're aware that the knights, hey guys, the knights are supposed to uphold to the code, right? The code of chivalry. Does anybody know what the code of chivalry entails? Okay, so it's, and I was looking, there's like a list, I could show you a long list of things, but it's down to 5. If I can find one of those, my little sheets. Here they are. 5, because he wears what he wears on his shield is, it shows the 5 knightly virtues. So it's free giving, generosity, friendliness or brotherhood, purity, chastity, which comes in with Lady Bartolome, chivalry, and then piety or compassion. So we can talk about how he either held these values or let them down. So it's Christmas time. Did you notice all the color imagery? What did you think about that? Because it was, obviously he comes up, he's over, he's like Hollywood status. He's dressed, he's green. And his horse, Ringolay, is wearing green and gold also, beautiful. And so
It was really vivid.
he's very vivid, very vivid. And what 2 things did he carry in his hand? Yeah. An axe in one hand, what does that symbolize? This is me, where I've got an axe, I'm ready. But the other hand was what?
It was some
Holly.
kind of, yeah,
Which would symbolize what?
peace.
Peace. So that's almost, this is contradictory. Like that.
He's carrying an axe and he's like, I have the holly, so that means I'm peaceful.
Right. So he rides up and they're like, okay, what do you want? And, he's pretty terrifying. These are King Arthur's guys. They're not supposed to be, playing a part. And so what does he want from them?
He
He
wants
says,
them to play games, he says.
yeah,
An active thought.
let's just play a game. And so King Arthur's like, okay, what you ask is silly because you're wanting me to whack your head off. And then a year and a day from, is that what he is? I get to whack your head off, right? And so I was like, this is dumb, but okay. Well, what's wrong with that? Why can't they let Arthur do that?
Because he's the king.
He's the king, they can't. So who speaks up?
So you
Sort of Wayne, he says, oh, you know what? And tell me, I'm gonna ask you this. He says, you should pick me because.
He was kind of like, I suck, so
Yeah,
just take me.
yeah,
We
yeah.
can say anyways.
Yeah. I'm worthless. Don't that give me a little bit of credibility that what? He's one of Arthur, right? His nephew, right? That's the only reason I can even be alive. Right? I'm low, I'm dumb, I'm this and that. And so I thought, okay, you have a good point. So he does this. He's got a lot to live up to do this. But what on the scale I just told you the 5 things that he's living up to, he's protecting his king, isn't he? In doing so. All right, so he does this. He cuts the gray ice head right off, as you said, it rolls around. They kick it, which I like to picture that in my head. Kicking it around, kicking it off. Then you think, well, that's weird. And then what does he do? The very night.
Picks it up.
And then as he's walking, this might as he's walking his horse, he holds it up to Guinevere, right, doesn't he? And he says what? Because the head's talking. I was not doing that part.
I don't remember exactly.
Well, he gets on his horse, and I'll see you in a year and a day.
Yes, well, he says in a 12 months and a day.
12 months and a day, which is exactly a perfect cycle, right? So he says that, and he put it back on. Can we let it go?
Yeah.
Okay. So put it back on.
Actually, no, he holds it up by the hair and writes.
You can picture that in your mind, right? That's just the funny. And what do they do? They laugh. It was so funny, right? So strange. So a year today passes by now. Just think if you're Sir Dwayne, what would that mean to you? I mean,
Have a year to live.
you know what you gotta do, right? Because to be a coward would be the worst thing ever. They could not do that. So he has to make this journey, and this is the whole thing. This is the whole point. It's not an easy journey because, the excerpt really kind of teaches you that, and then it shows you how long and hard this journey is. When is he traveling? He's not traveling in the spring like the Canterbury Tales.
Starting in the
Winter back in the 1200s. So, he doesn't have the mossy oak and all the kind of stuff we have now to protect him. He's just doing the best he can. So it's very hard to get there. So he makes the travel, and what do you remember? The first place he stops? Hassel. And he's so glad to be there. He's straight, hungry, he's cold, he's tired, beautiful Hassel. Goes in, there's food, he gets to eat, and they're so nice to him. The Lord says, what, welcome, thank
It says,
you,
we welcome you, Lord.
welcome you. I'm gonna go hunting. I said, whatever I get hunting, what do you say?
Whatever you get done.
What changed, right? Which, okay, that kind of makes sense, but not, okay, so I'm thinking about that. So, what else did you learn from that? So the first day, what happens, what's the day like for Sir Dwayne?
Part of it.
After rest, and what else?
It's part of that.
What is it? Oh, yeah, the lady at the house won't leave him alone.
And then he has to return the kisses to the Lord.
Yes, and he's so does he, let me ask you this, does he abide by, does he act like he should? Does he do the best he can to fend off this persistent lady? He does, because he can't be rude, he's like, woman, you're, pushing her away as me. All right, so what about the second day? Okay, 2. All right, and so he has to exchange that. Third day, it gets more severe, and as the hunt is getting more severe, it's more, if you read the whole thing, it talks about the different things he hunts. The first one, the deer,
Second of all.
a boar, and what's the third one? What was the most severe? Fox. It is a fox. It is a fox, and the fox is very smart and tricky. The fox is very tricky. How does this tie in? Thank you. To his day, the lady.
She gives him 3 kisses, but then also ends up giving him, I guess, a sash.
Well, at first, she's like, take my ring. He's like, I can't, I can't take this. I can't give you, no. So he's not greedy. But she's like, okay, well, at least take this. And he does a sash. It's a special sash. It's supposed to be what?
Protect him.
No one can kill you by the sun. He's thinking, I can use this about right now. What's the problem with it though? It's from her, and she tells him what? Don't tell anybody, especially who? My husband, that you've got to. Now, is that going against one of what is supposed to be honest and truthful?
Yes.
It is. So he's doing that, right? All right, then what happens? Gotta go to the Green Chapel. Gotta make the Green Chapel, the Green Knight, the Green Chapel. So what happens there on the trip? He's visited out there. Notice the description, it's such a rough, it almost sounds like hell on earth. Because the mountains are real jagged, very dangerous, creepy place. I believe he says it's an oxymoron. This is the most holy, I can't remember what he says, it's something really good and then something really awful together.
Holy devil.
Something like that, something to that effect, yes. I've ever seen, which is weird. It looks like a place where Satan worshipers would come out and worship. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, that's kind of what it said. And so then he hears this awful sound. I can almost hear it right now. And what is the sound? Sharpening, the green knife is sharpening on that. We didn't talk about how long that blade was. What was he doing?
So next week, your transaction.
Long. Okay, I'm not used to this one, but it would be long. Sharpening the blade, he hears it. And then he sees the green knight coming down. He's using his axe to kind of, I don't know, I picture it in my head like he's almost like the Hulk. So he's coming down using that kind of just shifting the axle rather than jumping over. So very leaping to him. And what happens then?
Here.
You're here. Okay, so now we're getting up to the part where he is raising his axe. And then what happens? He goes to do it. He flinches. Now, is that something that I'm not supposed to do? But I mean, how many of us could really, I can't sit still anyway, just for no reason, but especially if I'm a flinches. All right, so what does the Green Knight say to that?
You can't do it.
You're not not a round table. You're not a naughty King Arthur. You're doing that, and what does he say? I'll do it again. Just pitch my head to the right in there. I will not do it. So he does it again. And then what happens? The Green Knight what? He does it with, well, I thought you were gonna flinch. Oh, come on. Which next time he says, look, the other is, I'm not gonna flinch again. And so he does it, and what happens? And he's so happy to see the blood on the snow because it means he's alive. He's happy doing it like a newborn baby. He's so happy. He's like, okay, I'm fighting now. I did what I said I was gonna do. I'm defending myself. All right. So then what? What is it? Yes. He says, well, she was your fiercest foe, and that was actually his life, right? I had her try you. And he's like, okay, so how does he take this news? Right, he starts really talking about self-loathing. He's like, oh, I'm the worst. Thought I was bad at the beginning, but now, look what I've done. I hid this thing. I'm supposed to be another round table. I lied. I'm terrible. And how does the Green Knight react? He's like, right, you did good because you know what? You cherish your life. And that's, if you're going to be weak on anything, it should be cherishing value in your life. I understand that. And he still wanted to be himself up. He invites them for, I think, the next year, was supposed to come to my house and have a party. So what about this? What about this story? I mean, what is it?
I feel like going too hard on himself.
Going too hard on himself?
Because he did, he refused the ring, and
He did.
he was like, I can't.
Right. I can't. Right. I can't.
And he was doing his best. It's like, well, if you can't take anything, at least take this.
Right.
Like, what else was he supposed
Well,
to do?
I know that, and you think, oh man, that would just be great. I could save my life, and it won't hurt anybody, really. If nobody, I can see it. But he had to beat himself up over that. So, is the Green Knight good? Is he bad? Is he both? What is he?
I feel like he's good. He's just testing the honor of the other knight.
Okay. What else?
Felix is a trickster.
Okay.
And he's just kind of a malevolent being that just wants to have fun.
Okay, we'll have fun. Anybody else? I don't know.
I kind of just felt that he wanted to make sure that the Knights of the Round Table were with everything. And I don't feel like he would do that just with anyone because obviously they can't kill him, so he wanted to do that with people who were apparently of the same caliber as he was.
Testing it out. You think they're the best of us? Let's just see. Let's just see if that's true. And it turned out he was happy. He was good with it, huh?
Then again, he had his wife, like, turn him forward, and what if he wasn't a good guy?
Right. The fact that he was, and it wasn't so much trouble to do that. All right, so we have a very interesting, I can see it now, a very interesting way to build a claim for each character. How was the Green Knight? He was this. You have to back it up. Was Sir Gawain really all that he should have been? Set that up, right? So we're going to work with something like that after lunch. I do have some 4 questions that I had that we were going to answer in class, but I would like to almost combine those things and let us do it maybe where you could have your have your document out, and as we discuss this, back in our clients, go ahead and knock it out. Would that be nice to get something done in class? Y'all like that? Okay, so let's do that. It sounds like you like the story.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Good. I almost, I thought about getting another quiz. I won't every time, but guys, I have to. I have to give you quizzes to keep you honest. That sounds terrible. I'm the green knight. I guess I have to make sure you're all you say you are, you honor students. I have to make sure you are, right? No. I know that you need to be held accountable. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Unfortunately, we're all human. Questions, comments, anything at all? I'm not sure. Here's what I'm thinking. This class is 15. I'm just wondering for peer editing, how long it will take for everybody to read like 4 papers and give feedback. I'm thinking we could probably still share our characters on Tuesday after lunch, maybe. If not, if we're running out of time, I'll just push that. But don't count on it. I want you to have your Pilgrim ready to go on his or her Google. We actually are. You know what? Okay, let me just do it right now. So you read the chapters. Which 2 chapters would fit? Would we fit to one and not? We got violence, we got temptation, we've got a journey, we've got.
Mine was the season one. So
Yes.
he said he was traveling in the winter, so that makes it more harsh than if he was traveling in the summer.
Very good.
Right.
Perfect. Yes.
Not only simple, like the symbol of that.
Oh my goodness. Perfect. Symbol of the act. Talk about the importance of symbols. This word is full. Very good. Well, there we go. We just did it. And I will pull up. I'm gonna be laughing. I will pull up their paragraphs they wrote on that. So it's just basically it's tying all literature together, and that's always important to do. But I still think I've had a couple people who haven't put their paragraphs on this, and so that's what I was hoping to do today. But with that, so it was Bella and Danelli. You guys shared yours and did a wonderful job.
I have read it, I just haven't heard some of it.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's fine. Here it is. Is that a symbol? Most of the time, I'm going to let you read it, Danelli. I'm sorry.
Most of the time we begin questioning whether certain things in stories are symbols. The author always puts these things in the story for a reason. Some most likely it is. Symbols are found all over in any type of writing. However, a symbol will never mean the same thing to everyone, and nobody is wrong. The writer includes symbols, but each person could come up with their individual ideas of what they mean. If an author wanted a symbol to mean the same thing for everyone, it wouldn't be a symbol anymore. It would be
Y'all go have a good lunch. We'll read your second one after lunch. We'll do our activity. Have a good lunch. I loved it. I had so much fun talking about it. Run through it.
My back stop.
Yes.
It says over.
Yeah.
I did.
I don't know if that means like.
Well, I did that. That was me. I did that.
I was really confused on what I did. Like, we're talking about stuff that like, I don't know if it's official again, but.
Well, it is now. You're in the class. So we're picking up right here. I told you we'd do the, you need to go ahead and do the resumes, which I do have an excellent function to have, so you have to control. So resume, college essay, and then you'll be reading Chaucer on the classroom, like your children for Tuesday.
For Tuesday?
Don't worry, you're not gonna have your college essay, I would think. I don't think you're gonna be ready. You can still peer edit though, okay?
I'll put that in my notes.
Yes.
Resume, college essay.
Yes, that's the only thing I'm-
Chaucer for the children.
And you're caught up with them, just except for, I'm not gonna, I just can't good conscience. This is not your fault.
Yeah.
So, are you okay with this?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Especially, I don't know. The whole time, I might be taking. But as of right now, it's supposed to be doing.
Right,